Guys, welcome back to another episode of Briar Hopper's Backyard Projects. Today we're doing a small video on the Malibu, having problems with gas boiling and the carburetor evaporating. So it takes a minute to start back every time. You gotta either crank it forever, put your foot to the floor multiple times so the gas builds back up the carburetor, or just it evaporates. Then if you get in it within like 2 or 3 minutes and shut it off, it'll start back because the gas ain't boiled and pretty much tried to vapor lock. So got a heat insulator plate from Edelbrock. This carburetor, it's Edelbrock, that way it'll all work together. Part number for this is 9266. Heat insulator plate. Used them before, good products. They do make them thicker than this one, but worried about hood clearance. So with the hood shutting, breather, all that, we'll worry about all that later. And whoever owned the carburetor, whenever I changed it, I didn't even think to notice it. They used actual bolts that are 1/2 inch instead of the actual factory studs with the nuts on the end, and these are longer to make room for the gaskets, adapter plate, and the carburetor all to go back on. And we'll see if there's issues with clearance. I don't think there will be because it's a small breather, but the stud will stick up higher and that can hit your hood. And we'll go from there. I'll take pictures and show sort of what I'm doing. We just got to unhook your passing gear, your passing gear down here, your throttle linkage, 4 bolts on the carburetor, maybe under the vacuum lines. Take your wing nut off, pull your breather, the hot and ground side to the electronic choke, because this is electric. Just unplug those because the ground's already attached. Just unplug the hot. And one vacuum line or metal line, metal line that hardens and threads into the back of the carburetor. So that's it for now, and we'll go from there. Hey guys, so we're back here. I paused the video for a minute, had to do some more recording, and sorry my dog is barking in the backyard. He's always driving us nuts. But got the heat insulator plate in, as you can see right here. It is the black gasket that runs along the bottom side of the carburetor. Not that bad of a deal. We did get the bolts changed, put the studs that actually go in the carburetor back in it. Hooked up the vacuum advance, and this is for your oil blow by that hooks to your valve cover. Got the gas line. Didn't even fool with that, just picked the whole carburetor up, set the gasket in, retightened everything. Got the studs tight. Then go to this side. And I cannot stress this enough. If you guys know anything about carburetors, that little keeper right there, do not lose that. We couldn't find it for a minute. Throttle linkage hooked up, throttle hooked up, passing gears hooked up. And this bracket, I know it looks rough. You can see right there, we welded this bracket. My dad made this for me at work because I guess the factory brackets that bolted to the intake there and back there, too far back, or it had the throttle wouldn't reach this carburetor, and the passing gear was too tight. So the minute you give gas, it throw it in the passing gear and it would just take off hard. Got that all adjusted, linkage back on, breather back on, and the stud we was worried about with the hood clearance. Didn't even have to worry about it. It picked it up some, but still doesn't hit the hood, so we're good there. Got a little more to explain. So the gas line, we are going to redo it. As you can see, it runs under here. They have it tucked between the motor and all the bracketry for the alternator, the water pump routed down here to the manual fuel pump, which is that line right there you see coming up. We're going to redo that and move it further over, so it'll come out down here and come up and over and then back to the carburetor. That way we can maybe get some more heat off it and wrap it with the gas line shield stuff. I don't know the technical term. If anybody knows, let me know. That's it up here, and I'm gonna have my mom hold the phone real quick. That way I can talk and show you guys. Did SOS pad the grill, cleaned up the grill, the headlight bezels, cleaned up the bumper. And I know you might be wondering, what is that right there? Well, I hand the phone to her. And so this right here, this is a balance splitter, whatever technical term you want to call it. Some people call it air dam, some people call it splitter. lower balance, whatever. This come off of an El Camino from 78 to 83. Yes, they did make it from 83 to 87 on the El Camino, so you could get that. That was an option. Never come out factory on the Malibus. But if you come over here, it actually tucks around and bolts to the bottom side of your fender. Here's some tabs, and it sticks between your bumper and this right here. But where it was factory for 83 and up El Caminos, or 80 to 83 El Caminos instead of 78 to 80, the bumpers on the 80 actually had no fillers. The bumper was closer to the body, so it didn't have fillers, so you don't have the problem we were into, having to tuck it behind the filler and then have the bumper gap, which looks fine, looks great, whatever. So cleaned up the wheels, learned a new trick today my dad showed me. Thought this was actually pretty cool. Always SOS pad the wheels and the beauty rings and the rally center caps. If you guys want these, your white letters come back great. Highly recommend this. If you don't know, cool trick and tip to know. SOS pads will actually bring back your white on your letters. Done it to all four wheels, sprayed a little bit of tire shine on them. Look great. Something different. We'll go back here to the interior of the car. It hasn't changed much. Did get floor mats into it now. The car just rolled over to 96,000 miles, so that's pretty cool. 4,000 away, guys. We'll be at 100,000 in a reset. So definitely have to do a video check on that whenever we do that. Door panels, haven't done nothing with. Interior still about the same. It's hard to see, but back here in the back window where the speakers are, I actually built the, I think it's called the deck panel for your speakers. Covered it with tan vinyl. It turned out great. Same with the back wheels, shine those, but them are actual original beauty rings on the tires in the rear, so they don't shine up as good as the aftermarket ones do in the front. And to the trunk, I started sanding and priming it a little bit ago. You can see it's not perfect, still has a couple pits, but definitely better. I was going to two-tone it. That's what the line up there is for that I showed you guys, and this line back here, because I was going to wrap it around the body and just keep going up. But change my mind, the whole car is going to be black, and we're going to get a spoiler of some type back here, either off of Monte Carlo or make my own race car style, whatever. We'll get into that later. But this side of the car still is the same, hasn't changed a whole lot. Just clean the tires. You can see how the splitter goes on the front. It actually sets downward, so that gave it a pretty mean look in the front end. Everyone seems to love it. I know. Got to get one for my dad's car for sure. This side of the car, still the same. Haven't done nothing with it. Just the floor mats, column. I do have a kit inside the house. We're replacing the shifter and the dimmer switch right here with billet aluminum, so that'll all be new instead of rusty, because all this is actually peeled off. There's nothing to shine back to it. And looking for a different steering wheel, probably a wood grain one, to match with the tan that I'm going for. And we're building our own gauge cluster, so that will come in soon, and I'll tell you guys how that's going to go and what we're going to do with that. And back up here, circle just all the way around the car for a minute, where we are getting rid of this box right here. This is the factory cruise control back in 78. Well, this thing's been chirping and squealing the whole time you're driving. It drives me nuts. Getting rid of this completely, I think the factory cable was like 32, 36 centimeters, or however they measure it. Whenever I build my own mechanical gauge cluster, I'm getting a new speedo that is going to be mechanical, so I can use my transmission speedometer cable up, just looped it in. But you guys have to buy a different cable. If you don't have cruise, like I don't, because we changed the column, doesn't have it at all anyway. So I bought a 61 centimeter cable that will completely just bolt to the side of the turbo 350 trans, loop straight up, go through the firewall, and back into the actual mechanical gauge factory. And we'll show more on that when I get the actual gauges, the RPM, and the gas gauge. Getting into the gas gauge, you guys, that is where it gets complicated. So any GM car from, I think it was like 62 to 87, I think is what it listed. Whenever your gas gauge is completely full, it should read 90 ohms, OHMS. Whenever it's at complete empty, it should be at 0 OHMS. So whenever you do your own gas gauge, you have to find one that is aftermarket, but it needs to be a GM or OEM factory replacement. That way you can just hook it up, don't have to mess with the wattages or ohms or any of that crazy crap. Um, Make sure wherever your gas gauge is at when you pull your cluster out, that your new gas gauge you're putting in, you turn the dial to where it at least was and start the car. Everyone's told me they recommend putting it on full. Check it with an ohm meter. If it reads 90 ohms, you're good. Ohms. Do that. Put your new gauge in. Make sure your car is full. As soon as you plug it up, wire everything in, it'll read just right. So shouldn't have no problems there. I'm not worried about hooking up the RPM gauge. That's simple. Wires right to the distributor. That's no issue. Getting rid of the flat speedometer and the little clock that was in the dash, I'm not worried about that because it don't work anyway. But the gas gauge is something most guys want. I'm the same way. I'm not going to drive a car that don't have a gas hand that works. Driving it, taking a chance on breaking down, whatever. Guys, if you're going to work on something, do it right. Please. I've had enough junk that I've fixed from other stuff that people just hack together or zip tie it up or whatever, and it's just hard to deal with. I mean, if you're going to do it, fix it right the first time and call it done. You done it yourself, if you done it right anyway. Hopefully you're like that. But that's been about it. Nothing really more to explain with it, just what we've done so far. Cleaning it up and painted the hood. It's got cat prints all over it, but it is getting there slowly. Cleaning up great. And we're going to start trying to work on it more and more as we go. And we will just go from there, guys. But it is getting better. And tell me what y'all think of the air dam or the splitter, whatever you want to call it. I think it's cool. I think it gives the car some attitude. And that'll end the video for today. I will ask, please like and subscribe to the video, guys. I know I didn't say it at the beginning, but we are getting bigger with the channel. I think we're up to 113. I'm getting like 400 something hours of watch time already, so that's great. I did create the group on Facebook, so look up Briar Harper's Backyard Projects on Facebook. The group is there. I'm the admin on there, so I can add you straight to the group. Check it out. We'll go with it, and more welcome. Post your rides, post your parts. We're here in Kentucky, so anybody that wants to like, follow, look for parts. We will be selling parts too on there now, and I've got everything up and running. And shoot me a message, say hey, what's up. But we'll see y'all later. Have a great day.